You guys see it. Look at me. Still getting ready. Still trying to get ready. Is anybody else moving a little bit slow today? Welcome to the 330 to go sports talk show where you watch Matt try to piece and part together, bringing you sports news, sports things that are going on. I already see a like up there. Let me get a comment up here. Dang it, Katie. Katie, I'm tired of you beating me every time to good morning. All right, I'm just going to have Katie start saying good morning from Matt, okay? Because you beat me every time to it. I want to be the first one up. You're always the first one here on the show. I appreciate you immensely. If anybody didn't see, we shouted out Katie. Katie does some amazing stuff, okay? So, guys, if you didn't see that post that we had that went up there yesterday, check that out. She's got a nice journey, great message, great story. Check her stuff out. So, Katie, that's my shout out because you give me nothing but love by being here every Tuesday and Thursday. You've actually been on this, probably watched this show more than I've actually talked. So I think you've been here more than I have, if that makes sense to anybody. So, all right, guys, let's check it out real quick on the banner. Here's some scores from around the town. The Pirates pick up one win, but then lose another. The first one, they lose 8-0 to the Tigers. Second one, they beat the Tigers 10-2. They come back then, pick up a win. It always seems that way. I know I've said that when they have those double headers in that day, it seems like there's always a split. The Cardinals finally get back to 500 by beating the Reds 5-3. Rangers a 6-1 winner over the Diamondbacks. Phillies 6-1 winner over the Giants. Anybody catch the whole Harper thing? They kind of threw at him, brushed him back, and then it's a bench clearing. Why is that? I played baseball, okay? And if somebody ever showed you up, it was a foregone conclusion. The next time they got up to bat, you were plunking them. Okay. We were going to brush you back. We were going to hit you right. And when you throw at somebody, it's the unwritten rule. You never go high. You always go right for that thigh. Okay. Right on that thigh. So they got to turn right into it. And that's a way of saying, hey, shut your mouth, or what you just did a little bit ago, we didn't like. That's not baseball. Don't do it again or we'll hit you. No lie. I was a part of a team that we hit a guy twice, okay? And the reason we hit the guy twice is he homered on us in the first inning, and when he did, he threw his arms up like he's strong and he flexed on us. Well, we plunked him the next time he came up because you don't do that stuff. So Harper getting thrown at is not anything new to anybody whatsoever, okay? This guy gets thrown at an awful lot. He's got a demeanor about him that I think a lot of people around baseball get annoyed with. Great player. Probably a great guy, but something about him seems to follow where people want to throw at him. Okay. So when they brushed him back, it was high. It was towards the head. These baseball players, though, are on a different level. They could scare you. I would never tell any kid in high school or collegiate to brush somebody back by the chin. But these Major League Baseball pitchers they can hit quarters. Okay. That's how precise they can be. And I didn't say corners, quarter, like that. Okay, a quarter. But that's the analogy because they actually can't paint corners when they're pitching. They know what they're doing. But why is this a bench clearing? And then the guys that come in that aren't even in the game start the fight. I think it's a rule. Once you cross, fists have to be thrown. I need to see that. Has anybody ever been to a game where there was a bench clearing brawl? I've been to one, and it wasn't even in Cleveland. It was actually in Boston. I got the opportunity to go to the Red Sox game, and I'm sitting up there. I got to see an infield or in the park home run and then a bench clearing brawl. It was great. It was against the Toronto Blue Jays. Shocker, because anytime I went to Cleveland, you'll hear me say this all the time, it's always the Blue Jays. I swear to God, wherever the Blue Jays go, it's discounted pricing and everybody shows up. But anyways, got to see that in Boston. You have to fight. You should be throwing fists at each other. Don't come out here and let's talk. Somebody come out here and just melee somebody, okay? Just drop them. NASCAR, remember that we talked about a couple of days ago? That's what we need. That guy, they were talking, boom, I'm just going to jaw jack you. That's what should have happened. Stop talking in baseball. Just if you're going to cross the line. Let's fight. Okay, let's get it on. So Dodgers, getting back to baseball. Dodgers beat the Mets 10-3. Ohtani is finding his way out there in Los Angeles. Homers again, and they crushed the Mets. Marlins, a 9-1 winner over the Padres. Orioles, behind Gunnar Henderson, hits a grand slam, and they beat the Red Sox 6-1. Just talking about the Red Sox. Rays, a 4-1 winner over 4-3 winner over the A's. Jose Suri has a huge catch, then a walk-off for the Rays. As a walk-off hit, helps him catapult there. Nats, a 7-2 winner over the Braves. Brewers, 10-6 over the Cubs. Rockies beat our Guardians 7-4. But the highlight behind all this has been Ramirez didn't homer last night, but does anybody know how many homers he has in the month of May? Okay. He's got 11. Guy is crushing it. He's got 16 on the season. He's got 11 in the month of May. Where would we be without Ramirez? It's like we got the right pick. Remember when the decision was him or Lindor? I think we picked the right one. I really do. I like Jose Ramirez. He's a solid third baseman. There it is. Katie with it. Better than Barry Bonds. And that was the person that he broke. Very good, Katie. I like that. You must have read the same article I did. So there's Katie's comment right there. Perfect. So that wraps up MLB news. NFL news. Before we get over to that NBA and I start talking all that, this was the funniest thing I saw right here. Washington co-owner says that the team is now staying despite a poll that 54% of their fans dislike or hate the name Commanders. How about that for marketing? All right. Hey, we don't care what you think, fans. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Really? 54% of their fan base has said they don't like it. What don't you like about it? Well, what name could have you ever came with? Out of all the name changes that has happened over the last few years, Guardians, Commanders, all that stuff, I probably would too. I don't understand the Commanders thing over there. I mean, call them the pigskins, something along that line. I don't know. Maybe that too is too harsh. I'm not sure. Run that poll on the Guardians name now. Okay, well, let's put that up. Did we just create something right there? Way to delegate that. Okay, let's get that up there right now. Let's have a legit poll that says, do we like the name? I don't mind it. You can see right there. I like this. I like that block C. Then I don't have to sit there and play whether or not. What I did find interesting as I was watching some of the Guardians takes from last night against the Rockies, some highlights, and I saw this guy down in the front row in Colorado, and he had the Indians shirt on. I mean, Indians spelled straight out, and it got me to thinking. Remember when we were going through the name change and we weren't necessarily allowed to even wear anything Indians related into Cleveland? Like, you, as a fan base, we weren't allowed to wear anything Indians. Now, it made me wonder, is that rule still in effect? And it's not. So they're letting you wear stuff that says, from my understanding, that says Indians, but you can't wear the headdress or paint your face or anything that we saw like in the early 95 and all that. And I'll get to that in a second too, because it's funny that I'll bring that up. But I don't, is that a rule? Is that still a rule? Like, I mean, are people doing that? I haven't actually been to a Guardians game, and I'm getting a lot better at saying Guardians. I'm proud of myself, if you can't tell, because I so want to say Indians most of the time, because that's how I've known them for 20, well, not even 20. What am I? 40 years of my life. Okay. All right. So, I just wear the C. We'll keep it at that. So the NFL news, the Commanders, they absolutely hate. The other stuff that's going on out there, if anybody's been paying attention, is there's a lot of wide receiver news going on. T. Higgins hasn't reported. Okay. Justin Jefferson hasn't reported. Now reports are coming out if Justin Jefferson was pretty much almost dealt on draft day. Crazy to even think that. Now there's talk that he somehow might land in Cincinnati, which that would totally scare me if that happens, because Cincinnati would get a lot better. That's going on. The bigger thing that I thought is Jennings, the receiver for the 49ers. He picks up a huge contract. If anybody's a Niners fan, we already know they're stuck between Ayuk and Samuel because somebody's not going to get paid, is how they're looking at that. They give this Juwan Jennings kid like $15 million. So obviously they're keeping him. And I think that's a big spotlight that gets put on those two wide receivers is you definitely know for sure one of them's not coming back now. It was speculation, but after the Jennings, I just don't see how you're going to be able to keep that whole wide receiver room. And it is what it is. And with the Browns, the talk right now is this Javon Cohen guard. Like they're talking like that's the biggest offseason free agent acquisition out of the remaining draftees that didn't get drafted. I shouldn't have said free agents, undrafted free agent. That clarifies it. He's supposed to be this one of the top picks. I'm reading this everywhere. And it gets to the point because we've got our two guards between Teller and Batonio, and 33 respectively and 30 years old with Teller, getting a little up there in age. Now, linemen can actually play into their late 30s in the NFL. It's been done. It was very common. Maybe the game's more physical. They've kind of cut away the underblocking of the legs and stuff, so maybe that prolongs the career a little bit longer. So the Browns are definitely starting to kind of look exactly how the Niners are with, hey, we've got this room of really good receivers. Hey, we've got this room of really good linemen, and they're getting older. We got to start planning for the future. And I guess the talk is this Javon Cohen out of Miami is supposed to be the guy. So God forbid either Batonio or Teller go down. We're going to be seeing Javon Cohen, apparently. We'll see how that one works out. In other football news, before I get to that NBA, is anybody watching what's going on with the NCAA? Wow. Get paid. That's all that's happened. It's just they're getting paid. This to me was absolutely crazy that they come out and we know that NCAA football is back, right? I don't get why no one – hang on, let me see this. Jeff Frank says, I don't get why no one is murder hornets. Who's going to be called the murder? Am I missing something? Jeff, please explain if you're still listening. What is the murdered hornets? Why? I'm at a loss here. You got me right now live on the air, and I'm looking at, like, hopefully you're watching to explain. Yeah, you need to type faster. All right, the MAC is the The MAC is the minor league now. I'm still lost. Jeff, you've got to explain it to me, man. I'm not a smart guy. I'm really not. Detail that out for me. All right. That or because I need to know now. Now my curiosity, you're derailing me from going through my show notes. Okay. Because now I want to know everything about this. You've lost. Maybe, I don't know. Type it out, spell it out for me. Help me out, brother. All right, help me out. But the NCAA is getting paid. All right, so now the NCAA is going to start putting logos, sponsorship logos on the 25s and at midfield. That's what's going to happen. Throw your Johnny Manziel stuff up. The NCAA is getting paid. They're getting paid. Then on top of that, all right, sorry, you read my comments and switch subjects. All right, let me check this out. Sorry, you read my comment and then switch subjects. I probably should be working. No, Jeff, I'm happy you're here. Stop working. It's a good spot to be. The murder hornets were that thing that hit the news for about 2 weeks right after COVID died down. I always thought they'd make a pretty cool mascot. Hey, I do remember that. Jeff, I'm with you. I like that. I do. And speaking of those, the murder hornets, has anybody seen the mayflies are starting to take off? Holy cow. All right, Jeff, now I'm with you. Thanks for bringing me back, man. You reeled me right back in. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you. They were part of Jumanji 2020. I remember that. I do remember 2020 was a weird year. That was in between me getting booted off 330 nonstop because we got into all politicalness and it's nonstop. 2020 was a weird time. There's no doubt about it. We all got awkward during that. So, all right, NCAA is getting paid. So the NCAA also, the video game system, and here's the best one. It couldn't get any better because in 1993, this is what we were rocking with. This was NCAA football, and everybody saw that, and there was no way graphics were going to get better. By 2013, okay, those graphics were smooth. If anybody's been following with the NCAA highly anticipated 25 that's going to be coming out this year, looks like it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We're a far, far cry from this. This was like the original Bill Walsh, college football. How did people even put that? There's no helmet logo. It was very generic. My goodness. I mean, who was that? Was that Arizona's uniform? Where was that at? Where Bill was Stanford? I mean, like, my goodness. So that's what that all started with. And now here we are today. It disappears. NCAA takes off for a few years. Okay. Can't find it. I was an NCAA nut. I would take the roster, enter the names, because again, logistically, we could not have that. There I am. My phone's ringing. Couldn't have anybody's name in there. I would enter them in, and then guess what my weird butt would do? I would then import them into the new Madden that came out. So simultaneously, I was running season after season. All right. I was drafting Troy Smith, Maurice Claret, all the Buckeyes, because I'm a Buckeye nut. All right. But now they can license that out because it's about money. So now these players are going to get paid, rightfully so, because they're using their likeness. All right. So if anybody uses my likeness, at least throw me $1. All right. But they've broke this down into tiers. This blows my mind. Guys, please look at this. All right. Let me see. Let me take the banner down so that it definitely does not show. There it is. So what you're seeing right there are tier 1, tier 2, 3, and 4, respective. Then on the lower one, this is how they're going to pay them out. 13 teams are almost going to get $100,000 a year. A year. And that money is supposed to be, then I'm taking it, it will be divided out to those ex-players. And then also the school itself will be able to keep it. When you start looking at this list, wow. And here's my only complaint. Akron zone. I get it. Akron, if you rank them, you're going to put them fourth. You're going to put them fourth right now. But you know how many times Zippy's won mascot of the year? This is BS. They should at least get tier 2 simply for the fact Zippy has brought notoriety to Akron, and we deserve that. There is a drastic drop from tier 3 to tier 4 to the tune of $30,000. It's a big drop. It's only a $20,000 difference between 2 and 3, but 1 to 2, 40. That's massive. Okay. Massive. So I look at this tier 2, and you mean to tell me that some of these teams, like when you look at it, a Florida State, highly known. USC, welcome to the Big Ten. You're supposed to come here and wreak havoc on us, right? That's what Lane Kiffin, the newly Big Ten coach of the year, I guess, is coming here, and he says he's going to wreck the Big Ten. Okay, bud. We'll see about that. But still, Texas, they're not tier 1. Wow. I mean, I look at these names collegiate football wise. There's a lot going on there in that tier 2 that I think at least 3 or 4 of those teams could have been tier 1s. Now you look at the tier 1. You mean to tell me Oklahoma State? How? There's no way. The Big Ten is represented very well here. You've got Michigan, you got Ohio State, Oregon, because people forget that. All right. Iowa, a little shocking there. Penn State, okay. But that wraps up the Big Ten. But Oklahoma State over a team like Texas? Huh? Who decide? I got to get the logistics of how this all broke down. But again, somebody's getting paid. A lot of people are getting paid, and there it is right there. And this is off of a video game. A video game. Just a video game. That's absolutely crazy. I don't get it. But Akron, you should have been tier 3. Thank you, Zippy. You've given us a great, great run. But, buddy, you set us up at a tier 4. All right? Totally disappointing. And other Ohio State, since I mentioned that, let's give it a shot. Billy Price, the center that was at an ex-Buckeye, got drafted to the NFL, has recently retired. That guy got drafted by Cincinnati, had a huge health scare. If you guys haven't seen it, look that up. I want to be able to tell him congrats on a great collegiate career, and then getting the opportunity to go to the NFL. Very impressive, and wish you nothing but the best. And wrapping up college news, okay, switching a little bit. Let's slide it over. Golf, Auburn. They finally win their first national title. If anybody had the opportunity to watch this over the weekend, it was great. I enjoyed it. Watched it throughout the week. Auburn, definitely, deservingly so. A little bit of golf news, but still want to give them a shout out because they got their first one. Slide back to that. All right, look at that. My bad. All right. So other and news, people I'm talking about somebody getting paid. We've mentioned so many people getting paid, and this came across, and it's kind of wrestling related, right? Okay, it's kind of wrestling related. This blew my mind too. I just had to share this. Does anybody remember seeing this historic picture? Yeah, that's Mr. Mercury. All right, okay, jamming it out in a Puma wrestling leotard. This thing just went up for auction. Okay. How much would you pay for a Freddie Mercury previously worn? Now, mind you, this is not tucked into his pants. Okay. This thing wraps around to the back. All right. Complete singlet. You know what I'm talking about. $91,000. Are you kidding me? Who paid $91,000? And you can tell me for certainty it hasn't been washed? And why would you even want it if it's washed or unwashed? I don't know. There's a lot to be said. I wish I had $91,000 to say I need to add this to my collection, but I no. I can't even wrap my head around that. But it's wrestling related, so that's how I tied it in with sports. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. That's how I get to set the table. I get to do whatever I want, right? All right. Speaking of somebody else who's going to get to set the table, this guy right here. Okay. Look at my man. Look at my boy, Jason Tatum, sitting down to a lovely breakfast. And who could be up next? The Dallas Mavericks. He's already went through the Heat, knocked them out 4-1 or 4-0. What did they be at? 4-0. They get one. No, they got one. I'm sorry. 4-1. Cleveland 4-1. Sweeps the Pacers. And now is he awaiting the Dallas Mavericks? I don't know. I don't know if he is. He should, because this guy right here is going to stop you. I'm on a Kyrie kick. 100%. I'm on a huge Kyrie kick. I said it a week ago when it was moving. I'm still waiting on my 50 piece, and it's going to happen. Season's not over. Kyrie's on another level right now, guys. And the reason it's relevant is he was here in Cleveland. That's why. This is the guy that I fell in love with watching when he first got here. His demeanor is so on point. He has grown up tremendously in the last year and a half. Okay. We've seen the saga. We know all this stuff. Kyrie was like just a cancer. It almost felt like in New York, or well, the Nets. Okay. Brooklyn. Sorry. Boston. Okay. They've been playing it all week. You know how many times Kyrie, he did it in Cleveland. I'm not leaving. He left. Okay. But would there be any way we would have kept him? I mean, seriously, in this day and age where the NBA is at, where these guys ring chase contracts, if they don't like somebody, they bounce. It's no longer like it used to be, where somebody would sit and stay. And the reason that I'm thinking this is I had the opportunity last night. Every time that The Last Dance is on, okay, I watch it. It's like the movie Major League or A Few Good Men. I have to watch it. I don't know what it is. I can't turn it. All right. That and Grumpier Old Men. If we're really going to be honest, I love that movie, Grumpier Old Men, because I feel like I'm turning into it. But I'll sit and watch that. But I see this Last Dance and I watch it, and I watched it last night. And I caught the very last two episodes of the whole docuseries. In Chicago, wow. The debate, I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, why is this even a debate who the greatest of all time was? You know, I mean, Jordan is it. There's just all these guys that we're talking that even come close, LeBron included, they will tell you Kobe inspired him. Kobe will tell you Jordan inspired him. So who started it? Now somebody's going to say, well, that needs to go all the way back. You know, Walton, Bill Walton. You know, I don't know. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yes, no. Jordan took it to another level. That 97 season when they were playing against the Pacers in Game 7, if you guys can recall that, the Pacers should have won that. They were a better team. They were up Like 17 points in that game. And just the demeanor of Jordan, the way he's talking to Steve Kerr. So it's no joke as I'm watching this. Steve Kerr, you built a dynasty. He just replicated what he's learned in Chicago. Steve Kerr talks about his journey all the way through everything and how he started in Cleveland. And guess who he idolized his role after? John Paxson, because they moved right from Paxson to Kerr. Why? Because John Paxson takes the time to sit there and tell Kerr what Michael wanted. You're a role player. You're going to get 5 shots, and you better knock 3 of them down, bud. You better be shooting above 50%. So I'm looking at that. I'm watching this docuseries again, and I'm like, is this NBA like this? Guys aren't built like this anymore. Players don't stay. These are other ones that instantly pop into my head because it got me also talking about, thinking to myself, what I used to watch as a kid, and no lie, these 4 right here, watched them all the time. All the time. That Indians down there, the champion season of 95, I watched that all the time. Michael Jordan air up there, Come Fly With Me. These are all VHSs, okay? And then the WrestleFest 90. I was a wrestling head, okay? Big Heart Foundation guy, okay? Big Heart Foundation guy. Jeff says, let's throw this up here. Jordan's ability to float laterally on the floor was, and then when he realized they zoned him out, he dropped 3. Yep, he did. Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with you, Jeff. The way that Jordan's ability to take his team and how he just took over. Scottie Pippen gets hurt in that last game against Utah. Okay, he's banged up with a back. He was out there as a decoy. That was all dog tired. And you could see it in that, how tired they were. And that leads me back to this Dallas team because Lucas says a week ago, man, I was tired. And Kyrie's response to him was, you should be. It's how it's supposed to be. This guy right here that's on the screen is a different player. Okay? He is bringing that 1 year of experience. And we've always said in Cleveland, you win 1 title in Cleveland, it's like winning 6 in Chicago. I've always thought that. LeBron's title in Cleveland, as weird as it sounds, to me, is equivalent to 2 three-peats in Chicago because it was so difficult to win here. With a young Kyrie who didn't understand, we were wondering if he was absorbing that information. He wins the title, complains, and bounces. Huh? What just happened? What do you mean? You're going to leave this? Yes, he did. And who do we get? We got Isaiah Thomas. Okay, that was supposed to fix the problem. No, did it. Okay, and that's all right. What's done is what's done, and we're here now. And I'm rooting for this guy because he reminds me of what I thought I was going to get and keep in Cleveland. He left. He annoyed me, bothered me, kind of understood. I don't think he got better in Brooklyn. I don't think he got better in Boston. He's gotten really good in Dallas, and he understands. Luka is a bad boy. I mean, that kid is cold, annoying, complains, but guess what? He's got the ability to take basketball in 2 different directions. He can play basketball every way that we know that basketball can be played. There's a difference of on the hard court, okay? There's a difference of blacktop basketball. There's also another no blood, no foul basketball. And people understand what I'm trying to get to here. Luka can play it all. Typically, that's not the case. Kyrie's handles are and one mixtape like. Okay? Plain and simple. So, with that being said, tonight, though, Minnesota's going to win. Dallas is going to take it in 6. 4-2. So, what does that do for exactly that eventual NBA championship series? I think it's Dallas. I was talking with somebody again, and they said, I think cohesiveness is going to be a big problem. Porzingis is going to come back to Boston. He's going to come back for the finals. Is he going to be able to fit right in and gel? That docuseries I'm watching last night of The Last Dance, Chicago never wavered in that game 7 because why? They were battle tested and they were a cohesive group and they knew each other was capable of doing. Dallas, I think, is 100% more realistically closer to that thought process than Boston. Okay. Jaylen Brown's shocked that he won the Eastern Conference Finals. Player MVP. Huh? What do you mean? You played really well. You deserve it. Tatum's stats may have been better in some categories or not, so he could have got it. But if Boston wins the finals, because the table is set, if there was ever a year, I'm going to say it again, if Boston doesn't win this year, that team for certain will be blown up. Everything's there for you. Everything's been set. It's the easiest it'll get for Boston ever. Okay? But Dallas is a problem, a real big problem. And this could kind of feel like that year that we saw LeBron take on the Mavericks, and all of a sudden Cleveland, we just dropped the C and put an M there, and it's the Mavs, and we're excited and we're rooting in Cleveland. We were doing that because we wanted LeBron to lose, because LeBron became public enemy number one. He took on a villain role that he's just not good at doing. LeBron's not a villain. He's not going to be a villain. He's likable. But when he went to Miami, he decided to take that role, and it got him out. And that's why we look at this. How do these players think that they're not? I mean, as fans, how do we not think that these players are going to stay the whole time? Because we believe that. We want that. We realize they're talented. Luka will never leave Dallas. There's no way Mark Cuban ever lets him leave. He will give him whatever he wants. That is one owner that you have to respect because he keeps those players there. Dirk didn't leave. Okay? That's not common anymore. Jokic, he'll probably stay in Denver his entire career. Or he could get lured to Dallas, because I do think there's a slight chance for some way, somehow, Jokic and Luka end up playing together. And I think that's only going to be in Dallas, because I just got done saying Luka ain't leaving. But players staying in one spot is not common anymore. They all ring chase because you have to build your legacy for your brand. It's smart. It only makes sense. You win a championship, you get endorsements. That's how that works. To think any other way is silly. That's just my thought. But after tonight, Edwards, I do think Edwards, this is when Edwards is scary for Minnesota, when his back's against the wall. Okay? You're going to get that. Okay? You're going to get that kind of anger. He's not going down, like just laying down. This kid will fight till the very end. I like that. It's almost like we should have just started the series 3-0 and then go, all right, let's make it a series now, because they're going to have to. He's going to play well. The other guy that you're not seeing in that picture is Cat. Cat showed up in the series before, and we ain't seen him since. Okay? Somebody else is going to have to step up and score for Minnesota to take tonight, which I just feel like they do. It's at Minnesota. It makes sense. 4-2 is how that series will end up in my thought process. But time will tell, will it not? And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who wants it more, who's gelling at the right time. And I just think, like that person I was talking with, Boston is sitting around waiting. They're watching. And to people that are like, oh, they're getting healthy. Basketball is not built that way. You can practice, you can get some running, but game, if you're off for a while, you lose that. There's a competitive edge. Your legs move a little different. The speed's a lot quicker. Every possession is a little more important. It's not like a pickup game during practice. It's hard to simulate that. Okay? Unless you're the Chicago Bulls and you have Michael Jordan, who makes up just stories and just things because he wants to play competitive. I mean, that was what I found interesting last night, as well as the amount of times Jordan would make up that the other team's player said something about him to get his competitive edge going. That's what separates it. And I don't think there's a lot. I've never heard LeBron doing that, and that's not a put down. Kobe had an edge. LeBron has an edge. It's not like Michael's. Okay? It's not like Michael's. 36 holes. That's the best story I've heard out of the whole docuseries. They said Jordan played 18 holes with Barkley, Chuck Daly, the coach, and David Robinson. Okay? They got done with 18. Those three, Robinson, Daly, Barkley, headed back. Jordan played another 18. Then that night, Chuck, knowing that Jordan played 36 holes, and Jordan didn't play 36 holes on just agua. Okay. He had his beer. Okay. And that's what's crazy. This man went and enjoyed himself during the day, got in, and they're giving out defense assignments. And they told Jordan he was going to slack off and play on the 2 or the 3. Jordan goes, nah, I'm guarding the point guard. Daly goes, no, I'm going to have you guard the 2 or the 3. And they said, Jordan looked right at him and said, I'm guarding the point guard with conviction. He said something about me in the paper. What do you think some point guard from Puerto Rico said about Michael Jordan in the newspaper that honestly would piss Michael Jordan off? It's non-existent. Jordan created that. He wanted that. That's the difference. That's why I think Jordan's the best. Sorry to get completely off topic, but like as I'm watching that and I'm thinking about the NBA as is now, you start to see some of those players and you kind of look at it. And guess what? I'm going to put them up here one more time. Which one do we want to put up? I like this one. That man right there is getting it. He's figured it out. Okay. He's figured it out and he's coming back. And it's going to be a great storyline when you guys are hearing me talk next week about Dallas is going to Boston. And don't be shocked. That might be where the 50 piece is coming from. I'm calling it. I'm sticking with it. I have to. If not, I just sound like I'm full of it. So guys, weekend is here. All right. We got a lot coming up. Stay tuned with anything that always pops up on 330 to go. Definitely. Oh, see how I butcher that? 330 to go. Say it with me. Remember that Howard Stern, he had to gargle the call letters. I'll do it again. So 330 to go. There it is. Stay hot on our Facebook page, Instagrams, all of our social medias. Follow all those. Give me a like. Give me a share. Give me one of those. It's no different than if you were walking down the street and some guy was playing a guitar and he had a nice little rhythm and a beat. You throw $1, you throw a quarter in his bucket, right? Well, guess what? My quarter, my dollar is that little button at the bottom where you can hit like, follow, share. Okay? So let's see those up. Okay, guys? I'm like the NCAA. I want my money. All right? I want my money. All right? Speaking of money, and I haven't done this in a while, anybody notice? Yeah, this right here. Let me move back here. It's up there. See it? Yep. That little thing, you're probably looking on your screen and you're like, what's he talking about? Turn your phone sideways so it goes to the big screen and you'll be able to see it. That is me with hair, okay? The only thing that has changed since in that is I have none, but I'm still slanging houses, still selling them, still a realtor. I am a realtor, not just a guy who gets on here and acts like he knows what he's talking about with sports or is dumb enough to actually sit and talk and say my thoughts out loud for you guys to totally use against me, which is perfectly fine as I sign up for all that. But I am a realtor. And if you are thinking about buying, selling, any of those needs, give me a call. All right. There's my number. There's my email. Listing. There is an active listing that I have. It is in Firestone Park. If you guys are looking in Firestone Park area, I have a gem for you. All right. Needs a little love, a little bit of your touch, but you guys come give me a call. Be happy to show it to you. Happy to take you through a walkthrough on that. So give me a call. Back here again, Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., talking about how the Mavs won the series, right? So that's my thought. That's my call. That's what I'm going. Thank you, Katie W.N. Katie gets it. Katie, your sense of humor is just as bad as mine. I appreciate it because you picked up on it. Not very many people do that. If you haven't seen Howard Stern do it, I'm not even going to try to tell the story because it's inappropriate what he uses, all right, to gargle. So, guys, back here again Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Till then, have a good weekend. And as we learned on last show, go say something nice to somebody you don't know today. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Get out. Enjoy the weather. And I'll see you back here Tuesday morning. Take care.